Hey friend, in this video I want to show you 3 of the most useful chord substitutions I've found for spicing up your chord progressions. Once you understand how these chord substitutions actually work, you can take any basic chord progression and make it sound richer, more emotional, and more intentional without having to redefine the wheel every single time. So the first chord substitution concept that will really level up your chord progressions is called harmonic regions. And harmonic regions is just this idea of different chords that can perform the same harmonic function. In other words, if you can use one chord somewhere, then chances are you can probably substitute that for this other chord in the same harmonic region. And what you need to know here is that the harmonic regions are divided in 3 main principal regions. And that's tonic, predominant, and dominant regions. And this is because each of those regions serves a very specific purpose in creating movement in your music. And the hack here is to think that chords that are related to each other are usually a third apart. So for example, in the first region, we'll have the first degree, which in C major would be C major. So if you go 2 degrees up, C major, D minor, and then E minor, you'll get E minor. In other words, if you have a song that has a C major somewhere, chances are that you might be able to substitute it for E minor. It'll often be the case that you can substitute one for the other. And the reason why this works is because those 2 chords that can be substituted for each other share a majority of notes. So for that example, C major being substituted by E minor, it'll work because C major, the triad, is C, E, G, and then the E minor triad is E, G, B. So both of those triads are actually sharing 2 of the 3 notes of which they are composed of. So that's why you can substitute one for the other. And the same thing happens for the different chords in each region. And this is a very powerful songwriting move because whenever you substitute one chord from a region to another chord from the same region, you'll find that it'll often give off a different emotional effect. And this can be very powerful for creating contrast in your arrangements. Let's say we have a simple 1-4-5 progression, which will be C major, F major, and G major. That'll be. But if we go from this dominant and we change the 1, C major, to A minor, for example, we'll suddenly have this. And that already feels very different. But if we go, for example, and we change another chord, let's say we change the 4 with the 2, so F major for D minor, it'll suddenly sound like this. And then we can go back to the 1. And just in that short example, you can already hear the emotional contrast it's creating. Because C major is going to sound very happy, but once you go to A minor, it suddenly takes on a bit more emotional undertone to the sound. And this is how you can start to think in functions instead of just static chords. Because thinking in functions instead of individual chords instantly gives you a better sound because it'll be more meaningful. It'll be a more deliberate sound, usually more tied with what you're trying to communicate in your song in a specific part of the song that you're playing or composing. So moving on from that, the second chord substitution, which is really powerful for any guitarist, is called the tritone substitution. And this is the idea that you can substitute a dominant chord by another dominant chord, which is a tritone away. So for example, let's say that we have a simple 2-5-1, as we always do, in C major. So that'll be D minor 7, G7, and C. If we use the tritone substitution there, we'll be substituting G dominant with C sharp dominant, which is the tritone of G dominant. So that will sound like this. And you probably recognize that sound, and it's used a lot in jazz, but also in a lot of other places. So for example, that's how the Mario theme song Game Over sound is. So the reason this works so well is similar to the reason as to why the different chords in the harmonic regions work so well. And that's because they share a majority of notes, or rather in this case, they share the most important notes, the color tones as we call them, which in this case would be the third and the seventh. And these are the color tones as we call them because you can take away the rest of the chord. You can take away the tonic and you can take away the fifth of the note. But if you have the third and the seventh, in other words, that magical tritone interval in your dominant chord, then that dominant chord will be understood. And you can just play that by itself and it'll already feel like a dominant chord, in context of course. Another reason why tritone substitutions are so great is that it creates a really smooth chromatic movement in the bass. And this gives it a more smooth, sophisticated, and colored sound to your chord progression. And the cool thing about this substitution is that you can always use it whenever you have a dominant chord in there. 99% of the times when you substitute a dominant chord for a dominant chord, a tritone away, it'll just work. And it's because of that tritone that we talked about. So it's a great resource, it's a great tool to have always in mind, ready to go whenever you're composing, arranging, or even improvising. Now, the third substitution on this list is called a secondary dominant. This is just simply the idea of using a dominant chord for a chord other than the main key center. So for example, if we're in C major, then that would be using a dominant chord for a chord that's not C major. And I'm going to use one of my favorite examples here, which is really common in funk, R&B, and gospel music. And it's when you're going from the 6th degree, in this case A minor, to the 1 degree, C major, and then to the 4 degree. So if we're playing it diatonically, in other words, without changing how it naturally occurs in the scale, you'll have just that, right? You'll have A minor, C major, then F major. Nothing wrong with that, sounds pretty cool, right? But if we change that C major to a dominant chord, that'll be our secondary dominant, and you can think of it as the dominant of the 4th chord, which will have this sound. And if you know a little bit of the jazz world, you'll recognize that progression as the progression to the song Sunny, which is an incredible tune. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. Now, this is a super powerful substitution to use whenever you want to paint a bit of unexpected color in the chord progression. And it works incredibly well because of the chromatic movement inside of the voicings. This works so well because of the introduction of notes that you would not regularly find in that scale. So it's like for the very shortest moment, you're introducing an unexpected color, a bit of chromaticism in there. And that creates intrigue in the listener's ear. So in the case of that progression, the sunny progression, you'll find that you'll have this C over here. When we go to the C dominant, that C note becomes a B flat, which then becomes an A note when we go to that F major 7. Incredibly powerful. That B flat would usually be a B natural in C major. But when using a secondary dominant, you can introduce colors like that. And even just a single secondary dominant can completely transform a song for the better. So highly recommend that you give it a shot if you haven't. So wrapping up, the bigger idea that we're trying to get to when talking about all these chord substitution is actually pretty simple. Most great harmony, most great songs even, are not about just memorizing more chords. It's about understanding what the chords are doing and then learning how to reshape that function in a creative and thoughtful way that complements what you want to say in your song and how you want to make your audience feel. So here's your next step. If you want to see everything that we talked about today throughout the entire neck and learn how that actually works on the fretboard, I invite you to check out my free guide called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. Using the knowledge that's in that guide, you'll be able to see all the concepts that we've talked about today all throughout the neck in a way that makes sure that you don't get lost on the neck, so you can actually use them when playing guitar and making music in real life. So if that interests you at all, you can check it out in the link in the description down below. Until next time, keep practicing.